So, welcome to a Message to Lightworkers podcast. It's a podcast series created for lightworkers, healers, intuitives to kind of meet, create, and build together. Today we have Natalie Viglione. She blends creativity with science as an entrepreneur. She's a cycle breaker, truth seeker, and an intuitive healer, and a vessel for life and business guidance. She helps entrepreneurial humans take their power back so that they can heal in both their life and business and be empowered to creatively push their gifts into the world through clarity and intention. She guides people to remember how to become conscious co-creators with the universe. She brings this work into the world with her husband, Mark Viglione, and through several brands that cohesively work together and support and serve others. Natalie, welcome.
Aw, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Of course. I'm glad that we kind of met through the cyber world here to kind of connect and be here.
Exactly. The true intention of the internets.
Yeah, yep. And another testament to what you look for, you'll find.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So Natalie, could you tell us a little bit more about what you do? You talk about bringing intention and creativity to entrepreneurs, helping them build. What does that mean? What are you doing here? Tell us why that's important.
Yeah. So, I've realized, I was in the corporate world for a while, and a little over 5 years ago, stepped out and started this company called Team Goo that has evolved. But at the core, it's really to support others who need to get their gifts into the world through, the biggest thing, content. So writing, video, design. But the ethos of it really is we work with people that are moving humanity forward. And so, healers, um, anyone that's serving others, authors that have written awesome books. And the core of that really is to help them, we can spin in our brain as business owners, and we can get into that phase of like, I'm not good enough, or everyone, there's other people like me. And so, but the truth is that no one is like you. No one is. You're unique. And so the gifts have to be pushed out into the world in a unique way. So that's what we support in that realm. Yeah.
Cool. So so I'm gonna I want to get really like to the nitty gritty and deep and kind of question you a lot, because I feel like although we're intuitive people, I feel like we're also intellectual people, right?
Exactly.
So when you say that we're all unique, yet we're all teaching the same things, which is kind of connecting with yourself, healing the inner shadow wounds, connecting with guides, how does that uniqueness come through when we're all kind of teaching the same thing? Like, how do you kind of bring that confidence to the client to feel like, okay, I am worth sharing this thing, right?
Yes, that's an awesome question, because the truth is, so let's say, there's you have this brand, and I'll even use myself as an example. Like, it came to me in a dream, and it just kind of brought all these things that I needed, other things that I needed to bring through me into the world, which is Disrupt Now, and a program to actually support entrepreneurs in a different fashion than executing creative, right? Well, I could have sat there and been like, oh, but there's other people that do that. And so, I don't think I'm going to pay attention to that. Well, the way that I've heard this, and I heard this somewhere, and the way that I kind of think that this is truth is that we have these innate purposes that a soul contract that we come into this world with, and we have this purpose, and, we reawaken that as we go. And the information that we receive, or the inspiration that we have, and the things that we create, while someone may be a healer also, your perspective, because of your journey, is what creates the uniqueness, because no one had the exact same path as you. They did not grow up in the same way. They did not have the same things that happened to you in 6th grade or whatever, So it's like this unique journey. And then we get to bring that through us in this unique way. And even though someone next to me can say, well, I also am a writer, you're going to write so differently because I'm using my lens to bring it forth. And so that's powerful. If we think about each of us as these puzzle pieces, and you're a puzzle piece and I'm a puzzle piece and he's a puzzle piece and she's a puzzle piece, and we all come together. We're all unique. We all have different, little pieces to us, but we fit together. And so the power is that if we uniquely bring forth our gift, we don't hold it back, we don't get in our own way, which, is part of the healing, then we get to fit together in this beautiful collective mosaic of power. And that's what I want to remind people of as we're going through the process to bring their business forward is no one sees it like you. No one, period. So, leave the questions and negativity and like, I'm not good enough out the window, throw it out because it's not true.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So do you work with people that are already in business or people that are trying to start and kind of follow that guidance and start a business?
Like massaging it, clay. Yeah. Well, so in the Team Goo side, we work with people that have that business that are bringing it forward, like they're launching or transitioning, evolving. But the Disrupt Now program, in fact, that's why it came through, is because that program, which is becoming a divine co-creator, is focused on helping people as well that also are trying to think of how do I step into this? Like, what is that intention? Where, I need clarity. So that's really that pre-launch support. Because, that's the hardest part is like, I dove into the deep end when I started my business because that was just like where I had to be at that moment. But, it would have been lovely to like have really stepped back and had created that intention behind it and a true, and really defined and have had clarity before diving in. I mean, it all works out in the end, but having like a clear vision and strategy would have been really nice. So
Good.
I give others what I didn't give myself.
I love that. Yeah, because you're helping them. That's what a guide does. It's guiding them to kind of get through a path that's not as rocky and muddy. Maybe a little challenging, but you're not gonna fall over and hit your head.
Exactly.
So I can already hear some of the excuses kind of popping into people's heads, like, well, I can't afford it, or maybe this isn't the right time. These little inner doubts that happen to all of us, especially entrepreneurs as well.
Yes.
What are your responses to those types of language and talk?
Yeah, we've all been there. And the truth is that there are days when you question, why did I leave that paycheck? What did I do? But those are moments, those are blips in the time construct and in our path. But you don't have to do it all in one fell swoop. I think we have this whole, I think, inverted way of looking at how life unfolds, and that we have these times of like, you have to do this by the society has just created this inversion of truth. Like, you don't have to start a business before you're 40 or before you're 30, or, you don't have to do anything by any timeline. It's like when it comes through and you're ready, step into the power. So there's no constraints on when. The constraints as far as money is that you do it in pieces. And if it takes you 2 years to get it off the ground because that's what works for you, that is okay. again, there's no time constraint. We always are like so hard on ourselves, like, oh, and that's that forceful energy, right? That's actually what takes us out of flow. And I've learned that the hard way myself, actually. So there's no time constraints. We can throw those out the window. Do it in pieces as you can afford it. Don't put yourself into a detrimental place where now you're in debt. So then you have this other anxiety, pushed into this whole construct. And so you're already starting in this place of like, this is hard. Like, why in the hell am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
If we don't put that kind of pressure on ourselves, then we don't have to be there, right? And then the third aspect is, I think the truth is that as we heal ourselves in our business, in our life, it automatically flows into the business or future business. And that can give us so many answers. So if you feel it coming, the clarity and the intention and the strategy and thing can be, that's where energy can be put. And so that is what I want to say to all of you that are feeling that like feeling, whatever that is, we don't have to feel that way. These are gifts. These are gifts.
Beautiful. Yeah, like the constraints. Don't let the constraint block you. Essentially, block the gift.
Exactly. So
if you could recommend a book or books, what would it be and why?
So it's funny because I'm like, oh my God, I read like 10 books at a time. That's just the way I consume, because I'm like, oh, I'm bored with this topic for a little while. I'm going to move over here. But I have some core ones that I think have some big truths and hit me in places that I was like, wow, this is like taking me into other lifetime. This is really hitting me in a different place. So I have a few. One is You Are the One. Coop Blackson wrote it, and he's just, I just love his energy. He's just such a cool man, and he's actually been on my podcast a couple times. He's actually coming on again. He's just, I don't know, he has the spirit. And so You Are the One is really all about, you are the one. Like, who are you waiting for to come save you? Like, you are it. So just do it and get in the space of knowing that there is no one coming for you. There's no one that needs to be, saving you. It's like you save yourself. I think that's powerful. The other one that really hit me, I read it like, I don't know, more than a decade ago. And it was when I first started getting this hint of like, man, I was there. Like, I've been there. I'm a healer. I've definitely been a priestess. Like, I feel these vibes. And it was The Mists of Avalon. Marion Zimmer Bradley wrote that. And, like a long time ago. But oh my God, every time I'm reading it again, and I just, for any light workers, light warriors out there, priests, if you're in this space, that is just such a powerful book to me. And obviously it's going to hit us in different ways. Some will resonate, some won't, but it really resonated with me. And it's such an interesting story about how magic was taken from this world and hidden from us, essentially. And it's great. And then the last one, and this is actually a new find, and I think it's super powerful for us women right now, like so powerful. It's called Feminine Archangels. Claire Stone wrote it. Actually, a client of mine told me about it, and it's basically about the sacred feminine has been lost from this world, and that's very plainly obvious. But the sacred feminine and the goddess is rising now. And so this is a really beautiful book that goes over all of the feminine, archangels, whatever you want to, I don't know if anyone's, we don't really know, right? But these entities, and it's beautiful. It's like reconnecting me to something really sacred within. And I really would love to see like every woman read this, because we need to understand, like, we are powerful.
All right, I need to read that. I have not read it, but now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, it's good. You'll dig it.
Okay, I'm going to read that one then next. And for the listeners, I'm going through just kind of our normal questions. So if they don't make sense and they're not blending, well, I'll try to tie it up neatly. So the next question is, what is the best investment that you ever made and why?
So investing in this business and making that decision and doing the other, things that I felt like I felt like after my corporate life, I was so corporate-y. Like
Mm.
coaching to me, or guidance, whatever you want to call it, I felt like I was always doing it, but I felt really stiff, and like I couldn't flow. Like I had to come out of that. So I got certified in, life coaching and these other coaching modalities. And it really helped me like step into the other human again and kind of get out of this rigid way of being. And so investing in yourself, investing in whatever business you want to create, that's been the best investment I could have ever made, ever.
Oh, I love that. I love that answer. That makes me question now what happened that even made you decide to leave corporate world? Like what event had such a big impact on you and your spiritual journey that led to that change? And what did you learn?
Mm. There's been so many of those like choice points that, you look back and you're like, oh my God, like, wow. But when I was sitting in there in that role, I was at an agency. I had made it to this VP level, whatever the hell that means. I mean, at this point, I'm like these titles and this stuff, I just don't feel connected to it at all anymore. So like another realm almost. But it was toxic. And I was physiologically reacting to the environment. I would get overwhelming hives, just red hive coming up my neck into my face. And I would have to leave. I'd have to go step, and I'm in New York City. So you can't connect with nature easily. So you're just like walking through these streets with all these other, it's just like these feelings of like, I can't breathe. Like I can't breathe. What is, what? So, and I knew that this materialistic path that I was kind of on, like more money, was so not vibing with the essence of who I was. It was so not, it's like my soul. I seriously, I felt like I was diverging from myself. And so I learned that, first of all, I don't need to fit in your box, society, of what you tell me that I need to be doing with my existence. And I battled with that often in my life. I have very clear memories of like, I'm not, first of all, I don't even feel like I'm from this planet. So I'm already not from here. So now, I'm trying to fit in your box, and like things are just not working for me. And I learned that, only I can create that next evolution for myself. Like it's not going to come knocking on my door. There is, yes, synchronicity, yes, flow, yes, all those things. But first you have to say yes to stepping into that other path that's going to allow those things to unfold, rather than, like, I always felt like I was going into a battle zone every day. Like I had to like suit up, put my armor on, get into the office and be like, all right, whoop, come at me, and that's such a crappy way to exist. And there's just, the cost of me not leaving was so much higher than saying, bye, gotta go. New things.
Yeah. Since going through all of this, it kind of sounds like it's heavy. Like it's heavy, but then also when you made the transition, it just became so much more light, literally. Attempting to follow their path.
Yes. So that, and that's actually a really good way to describe how you know something is just not right. It feels heavy. Like owning a business, if anyone says it's easy, I'm serious. They are absolutely 100% lying to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because every day is like this new day of like, oh, okay, I could do this, you know, and you're gonna hit these. It's like this, you know, it's a roller coaster ride for sure. So
Mm-hmm.
if we just understand that it's not about not having difficulties, that's not what ease or flow really means, but what that means is you're not resisting truth. You're not resisting truth in that it's your, you know, you feel it, it's awakened, it's there, it's this energy that's driving you forward,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not letting it fully flow because you are trying to put yourself into this other path. And so as soon as you go, okay, all right, here we go, this is it, you're still going to have, you know, you're going to have a mountain to climb, you're going to have, you know, those
Mm-hmm.
rocky days, but you're on a different path, and so the universe is helping you on that in bigger ways. Otherwise it's just going to keep hitting you over here going, hello, over there.
Mm-hmm. I am just like totally like on the same wavelength right now. So I'm just like, yes, yes,
Yes.
loving all your responses right now.
Love it.
If you could share one line that you lived by in the past that you kind of that you've already overcome, or maybe one that you're attempting to overcome like right now, what would that be?
Hmm. Well, so um there's another thing that I think that a lot of us healers, intuitives, creatives, empaths, all of these things that we hit, we can get smacked in the face with major events that kick us into high gear. So I'm currently healing. It took me a while, like years, to understand what was happening to my body, what was wrong. But I'm healing from mycotoxin illness, and I didn't know what it was. So, but what profound thing this event has created is that it has made me realize you are a medicine woman. You are a healer. You are going to fully reclaim that priestess, you know, light warrior thing that you are, and you're going to step fully into that power. And the truth behind that is that while I'm healing myself, I'm healing others, and I can heal others. And it's just, I didn't even know this was possible for myself. Are you kidding me? Like plant and herbal medicine and sound frequency healing and divine nutrition, as I'm calling, like what? Like if you would have told me I would have been doing this like 5 years ago, even, I would have been like, oh, get out of here. Like, nah, it's not, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. And you know, it took this. So is it a challenge? Yeah. Is it hell some days? Yes. But I know, but it's like that future self. I see her and she's like, come on, keep coming.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. You're supported. You're going to figure this out. It'll be fine. Just keep going. And that really does make me go, okay. But I have days when I just, you know, I may cry for 5 hours. I don't know. Just let it go.
The human condition of emotion.
Exactly. You know, that stuff.
Yeah. At what point did you know that it was time to change your path and then really go full force with
Mm.
your calling?
You know what? It's like that interesting thing where you have these moments in your life. Like when I was in my early 20s, I was with this super narcissistic person, and he was so bad for me. We were so bad for each other equally. And we got married, and then I was like, I dreamt that we were going to get divorced before we got married. I was like, probably
Oh,
shouldn't
wow.
do this, but I did, like a dumbass. But you know, I had to experience that, right? And so I I realized that when we got divorced, and I was like 24 or 5, that was my first step into power. That was my first step into my true life path, because what he was trying to create and what he wanted to control, I was having none of it. And I was like, and there's that other example of like, I'm not going to fit into your box. I don't care if all of y'all are getting married at this age. Like, I'm not doing it. I'm going to go, I have bigger things to do. So I'm going to go do those things. And then, yet again, it's like with this whole toxic, corporate culture that I know so many of us experience, that was another sign, like, here you are in this, it's literally the same with a different wrapper. Here we are. And then I started realizing, because, clearly self-development work is like every single day. It's just integrated into what we do, right?
Yeah.
And so I could reflect really quickly and be like, no, I'm not going to be in this bad looping pattern anymore. I'm done, gone, jumping out. And so as long as I kept realizing, like, I'm doing the same thing, I'm trying to fit in boxes again. And that is what got me into trouble every single time. And so as soon as I said, bye boxes, just, you need to go do what this path is, that is going to be so different from what most things around you are, and people are doing, and embrace that. Until I fully accepted that, like, I was going to keep learning that same lesson over and over and over and over, but I got out of that loop. So I'm very happy to say that.
Yep. That's definitely how the universe works. That's definitely how the universe works.
Totally. Isn't it? I mean, it's crazy too when you think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you really think, you're like, oh wow. Wow.
Yep. Last week's visitor, she was one of America's top psychics, and she was talking about how the universe is very abundant. The universe is very abundant, and we all have these cycles that we go through, and the universe will continue to bring them to you until you kind of like get that lesson, right? And then it's also about kind of tapping into that higher realm, like letting go, tapping into that higher realm that's above the ego, above the mind, to really find peace within that obstacle and like that lesson, right?
Yes.
So I thought that was just very poetically said, like how she said that.
Yes.
So like, I love that. That's like the best way to put it.
It totally is. It makes it so much better than hitting it with negativity and like pain, right? Yeah.
If you could assign one I am affirmation to everyone on the planet, what would it be?
I love this question, by the way. I'm like, ooh, okay. I am powerful. That is what I want every human on this planet to say, because humans are magic. We are magical beings, and that whole existence of that realm has been hidden. And it's like, I look forward to the day when everyone's stepping into that power, and we, instead of being like, I'm intuitive, I have lucid dreams, I see timelines, I dream time, and this is normal conversation, instead of feeling like, oh, if I said that to these people, they would look at me like I have 19 eyes,
Right. Yeah.
So powerful would be the I am statement.
Oh, those are all the questions I have for you today.
Wonderful.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Yeah, there's one last thing, because I've struggled a lot with this, and I want to put it out there into the sphere of Lightworker world, because there's some of us that have like this masculine energy, right? Like, I have a lot of masculine energy, like action, just that sacred masculine energy, but it's very very much a light warrior. And so I kind of want to speak to the light warriors right now, especially the ones that are women, because it feels like it's combating with your feminine self. It's like you're always in this power struggle. And I just want us to realize that it doesn't have to be that way. we can have both energies. We can be in harmony with that. But light warriors, have this like standing for truth, standing for justice, standing for what's right. And so if we can stand in that truth, then we blend this world of light workers and light warriors and empaths. And I think that's what's creating the new earth. And so if we can, again, step into that power, then that's like how we can make this major transformation in this world. And honestly, step into that starseed role that we're in, because that's really what we're here to do, is create new. So I wanted to drop that little nugget out there.
Beautiful. To all listeners, if you want to connect with Natalie, I'll be leaving all of her information in the info box below. Natalie, I want to thank you for visiting us and for sharing your story and all of your wisdom with us today.
Thank you. And thank you for doing what you do to get these messages out. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Until next time, listeners.